Hello, and a very warm welcome to the English Story Nook. We are so glad you could join us today. Today, we're diving into a story about a man who feels trapped in a boring, everyday job. Get ready to discover how a single, forgotten email, hidden in the most unusual place, can become the key to unlocking a more colorful and authentic life. Before we dive in, if you enjoy our stories and want to support what we do, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and consider buying us a coffee on Ko-fi. There's a link in the description below. Every like, subscription, and small contribution helps us keep creating great content for English learners like you. Let's get started. He found his courage in a spam folder. Anton Morozov believed his life was written in beige. Every morning, he sat in a beige cubicle at Tienda Analytics, staring at beige spreadsheets. His job was to analyze data, a task that had once seemed interesting, but had become incredibly mundane. The routine was predictable and safe, but it felt like a cage he had built for himself. He dreamed of being a graphic designer, of creating things with color and passion. But the dream felt distant, a life that belonged to someone braver. So, he continued his mundane existence, telling himself that someday he would make a change. Someday was a word Anton used often. He would start his portfolio someday. He would look for design courses someday. He was an expert at one thing. He knew how to procrastinate. On a particularly slow Tuesday afternoon, he decided to do a task he had been avoiding for months, cleaning his personal email account. His spam folder had over 10,000 emails. With a heavy sigh, he began deleting them, his finger clicking rhythmically. Junk, junk, advertisement, junk. Then, a subject line caught his eye. Scholarship Award Notification, Wesal Viskosilova Institute of Design. His heart skipped a beat. He opened the email. It was dated 2 years ago. It informed him that his application had been successful and that he had been offered a full scholarship to one of the best design schools in the country. He remembered applying, but he had never heard back and assumed he had been rejected. The email had been sitting in his spam folder, unseen, for 732 days. The deadline to accept the offer had passed 19 months ago. The opportunity was gone. Staring at the screen, Anton didn't feel anger, just a deep, hollow sense of regret. He saw clearly how his fear of failure had made him procrastinate on his own life, so much so that he hadn't even checked for a reply. This email was a ghost of the life he could have had. That night, Anton couldn't sleep. The ghost of the scholarship haunted him. He realized he couldn't wait for someday anymore. The next morning, he started researching design courses again. The number of options and the cost of tuition immediately made him feel overwhelmed. The path to becoming a designer seemed incredibly difficult and daunting. Was it too late? Was he too old to start a new career? For a moment, the comfort of his steady job at Tienda Analytics seemed like the smarter choice. He felt completely overwhelmed and almost closed the browser. But he didn't. Instead, he called his friend, Charlie Hayes. "It feels like an impossible mountain to climb," Anton confessed. Charlie listened patiently. "Every big journey starts with a small step," he said. "Why not start a small venture? Just a little project to get you going." Inspired, Anton offered to design a new menu for his favorite local coffee shop for free. The owner loved his work and paid him for it. Holding the beautifully printed menus, Anton felt a spark of joy he hadn't felt in years. This small venture was the proof he needed. He could do this. A week later, his manager offered him a promotion. It meant more money, a better title, but more responsibility in a field he didn't love. The offer was tempting, it was safe. But as he worked on another small design project in the evenings, he knew he couldn't accept. Creating art, even for a small client, felt like his authentic self. The man in the beige cubicle was just a character he was playing. He wanted to live a more authentic life, one that was true to his passions. He knew what he had to do. Turning down the promotion was the most daunting conversation of his life. His manager was shocked. "You're throwing away a great career for a hobby, Anton," he warned. For a second, doubt crept in, but Anton stood firm. He explained his decision calmly and told his manager he wanted to reduce his hours to take a part-time design course. To his surprise, his manager agreed. Months later, Anton's life was no longer beige. It was a chaotic, colorful mix of data analysis by day and design theory by night. He was often tired, but he was happy. He was finally becoming the person he was always meant to be. He no longer felt the need to procrastinate on his dreams. His new life was his biggest venture, and while it was challenging, it was his. He was living his authentic life, and it was more fulfilling than any promotion. The forgotten email was no longer a symbol of regret. It was the unexpected key that had unlocked his cage. That's the end of our story for today. It's a great reminder that it's never too late to follow your passion. Now, we have a question for you. Is there a dream or a hobby that you would like to start someday? We would love to read your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to check the description box below for helpful resources to continue your practice. Thank you for joining us at the English Story Nook. Keep up your amazing effort with English. We are so excited to see you in the next video. Happy learning and goodbye for now.